And the Marines, they are in this fallout after 16 U.S. Marines were pulled out of battalion formation and arrested in front of hundreds of their fellow Marines. They're accused of human smuggling and drug-related offenses. We go to CNN's Stephanie Elam, who's on the story outside Camp Pendleton. Stephanie.
Lynn, this all happening while they are in battalion formation. So that's about 800 Marines who were assembled at the time when they arrested these 16 Marines. We also know that they questioned 8 other Marines related to drug charges, drug investigations that were separate from those other 16 that they were looking into. What we've also learned is that this is related to the arrest of 2 Marines earlier in the month. They were arrested 20 miles east of the port of Tecate entrance when they were found with 3 Mexican nationals in the backseat of their car. They did not have any documentation and they were not supposed to be here. Because of that investigation, that led them to do more digging around and looking into it. This coming from the Marine Corps, that this is what they're looking for. 2 of those undocumented immigrants said that they were planning to pay $8,000 to get smuggled into the United States. One was planning to go to Los Angeles, one planning on going to New Jersey, and that these Marines were helping them. This investigation continues. The names of the Marines, the other Marines, the arrests that happened yesterday have not been given out yet. It looks like they're still compiling charges against them, Lynn.
Stephanie Elam, thank you so much. And that is your afternoon rush. But we want to dig deeper into this and bring in criminal defense attorney Will Bruzzo. He is also a former JAG officer. So, Will, I'm sure you're just as shocked when you read this morning. But how common is this? I mean, do you think this is just a few bad apples?
I do think it's a few bad apples. You know, it's very unusual for this many people in one unit to be charged with an offense, but these were very young folks. You know, one guy made a bad decision. He brought his buddy in. That guy made a bad decision. So you're dealing with 18, 19, 20-year-olds making a series of bad decisions. So I do think it's a few bad apples.
And what about these arrests and how it was done? I mean, it was in front of the whole battalion. Is this kind of a loud message to the other Marines there? This is not going to be tolerated and you will be shamed for it?
You know, part of the criminal justice system is to deter other criminal conduct. So when you arrest these people in a formation like that in front of everyone, it's quite a shock to the folks who get arrested, but also to the other folks watching. So it sends a message, and I think that's what the command was trying to do. You know, once again, you're dealing with very young people making bad decisions. So this has sent a message that no one in that formation will ever forget.
So explain for people, because it's not like they're going to be shuffled into civilian court and all of this is going to go down in the same way as if you or I would have committed these alleged crimes.
Right. So, you know, the military polices its own. Now, it's possible that they could defer this matter to the federal government. The Department of Justice would take over, but the Marine Corps can go ahead and prosecute these folks. You know, with military courts, of course, they're going to be the jury or other military people. I would also note that, you know, there's really the possible punishment essentially is unlimited for a case like this. And if they really get some angry jurors, because in the military courts, jurors can actually sentence the accused, it could be a very, very lengthy sentence.
It's happening just a day after an elite team of Navy SEALs were sent home from Iraq for allegedly disciplinary problems. There was possible alcohol abuse, sexual abuse allegations. And then the Navy Times, we featured it here on the show, it came out about some cocaine abuse in SEAL Team 10. So what's going on here? Is there some bigger problem in the military?
You know, I think there is a bigger problem having to do not so much with the Marines, but with the SEALs. I think that the Marine Corps situation was an aberrant thing that just happened to occur. But the SEAL situation is very different. Listen, the SEALs are America's best. This is an incredibly elite group, so difficult to get to be a SEAL. And I think that because they're so elite, they were giving a lot of deference. They weren't treated like normal people in the military. Listen, when I was in the Marine Corps for 7 years, I was constantly subjected to urinalysis tests. People actually went into the bathroom with me and watched me urinate into a cup. And that's what needs to happen in every case. But because they're such an elite unit, they weren't following those simple protocols. And the result was that you had people cheating and using controlled substances and getting away with it. And so it was a big mistake. So I think there's too much deference with these elite units. The other problem I see is because I think a lot of these folks are making bad decisions, a lot of these SEALs, because they've had too many combat tours. We all remember Chief Gallagher, who was accused of murder and accused of murdering civilians in a combat theater by other SEALs. he had done something like 8 combat tours. I believe, while there's no excuse for his conduct, and he was acquitted of those charges, there's no question that there was a lot of, malfeasance there, and he did a lot of things wrong. But I believe post-traumatic stress disorder can explain a lot of this horrible conduct by this very elite unit.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we brought up when we featured the story about the Navy SEAL 10 group, and whether or not there need to be resources or attention paid to exactly that side of this story. This is horrible, drug use is terrible, lax testing is terrible. What do you think needs to be done?
Listen, I have represented military members for the last 25 years since I got off of actual military duty. And even though the government and the military pays lip service to screening everybody for PTSD, in actuality, it does not happen. Every single service member coming back from combat theater needs to be screened for PTSD. And if they have it, they need to be treated. We owe that to these fighting men and women who have given so much of themselves for this country. And it's not happening, and it's a shame. And I think it's resulting in this complete breakdown in discipline that we see with the SEAL units.
Yeah, and I think that's such an important part of this to talk about and not just throw out that sensational headline and unbelievable thing, but these are the men and women we need to be paying attention to the most, the ones that are sacrificing their lives for us. Will Bruzzo, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.